it's time for me to end. Since you have all got a global perspective, especially from Sweden, and I was in Denmark 2 weeks back, which is very near and very close, and I have really seen digital economy in that country. When I was carrying cash, and I always thought if my cards don't work, what do I do? And I realized I brought all the cash back because they won't accept it. I mean, if you gave somebody €100, they say, no, first you give me kroner. And if you gave them kroner, he said, no, I don't have change. So usually whenever I went to any country, I used to bring those coins back. 30, 40 countries, different type of coins. Now today I don't actually know what is the cent form of kroner. मतलब उनका 50 पैसा क्या होता है, 10 पैसा क्या होता है. I don't think the coins are still in existence. They just have gone, probably become antique property. और अपने आप ही खत्म हो गया मेरे ख्याल से. I don't see those 10 पैसा, 2 रुपया everywhere you go. And this is true. I'm coming from the field, at least. I mean, I am not at that elevated level of global and national and at least state level. भारत सरकार के अधिकारी तो जाते हैं नीचे, लेकिन स्टेट कैपिटल और बड़े शहरों में घूम करके आ जाते हैं. हमारे यहाँ नॉर्म्स हैं कि एवरी मंथ वी हैव टू विजिट वन डिस्ट्रिक्ट, and in district we have to go down further down to the villages, and you have to see the change. The change has come, it is irreversible, and the youth is leading. I mean, I have a prepared speech and I would go by it because I'm supposed to represent my state government, and I'm thankful to ET and the team which will be giving us the honors later on the later part of the day for digitization. But as Sanjay mentioned, we keep changing our designations. And two things happen. Sometimes you stay long enough, and there is a reason, and sometimes you stay short enough, and there is a reason. My history of postings in 30, 33 years is either I've stayed more than 2 years or I've stayed less than 6 months. 6 months, I stay, I come back enriched. Because I've learned a lot, I've not been able to do anything. I stay beyond 2 years, I am able to make some changes. So 2 departments I was able to make changes, and I'll tell you how. About 4 or 5 years back, I was posted in the Food and Civil Supplies Department, and Times of India carried a picture. A man was sitting on a tree with a POS machine. And he had put a ladder, gaon ki, desi sidi. And there was a photograph of a lady going up the ladder. And it became such a news. I was called by the chief minister, ye kya tamasha hai? So even I went. We realized that this man was sitting with a POS machine in an interior area of a district called Dungarpur, because there was no connectivity, and he found that the network was working at the top of the tree, and I was at fault. I was kind of questioned by my chief minister. She said, ये तुमने क्या कर रखा है? तो I told Madam Vasundhara Raj, ऐसे मैम ये आप ही ने करा है. You are the one who has made this POS machine compulsory. 1 crore beneficiaries, 80% of the state population, 2 rupees per kg, 5 kgs per person. We were distributing through 25,000 fair price shops. One fine day, and every day when I joined this department, the newspapers were full. आज साहब 2 ट्रक पकड़े गए, सामान यहाँ जा रहा था, सामान वहाँ जा रहा था और गायब हो गया. When we made this POS machine compulsory, there were 4 strikes. 4 strikes in 3 months. Flash strike. We had to actually suspend 6,000 licenses because the state government made POS machine compulsory. It was not an easy task, and an illiterate lady 60 years old. She had to put her thumb. And we came across such problems you can't believe. I mean, tree was one. We came across people whose fingerprints were not there because they used to work in the mines, they used to work in the quarries. वो काम करते करते सारे fingerprints चले गए थे. But we went ahead. And I can tell you, within 1 year, we were actually awarded by Government of India. And I was called by the then secretary, I still remember Brinda Swaroop, who was Secretary Food, Government of India, कि आपने किया कैसे? And the result of the transformations कि जो हमारा internal estimate था कि 60 to 70% लोगों पे खाना पहुंचता है या food पहुंचता है, वो actually 99% पहुंचने लगा. We had actually lodged about 130 FIRs against people. आज कोई FIR नहीं होती. Things have changed permanently. This is just to give you one example of, I don't know what they are doing in Sweden. We are a very poor country. हमारा तो वो 2 रुपए किलो, 5 किलो पर व्यक्ति, वो खाना अगर पहुंच जाए ना लोगों तक, तो वो बहुत है. I'll give you second example. I was in industries department. Why I'm giving this example is कि इस बड़े conference hall में you will come across so many data, so many figures. I was just sitting checking on my mobile. I was in the industries department. So CM said, कुछ ऐसा करो जो लोगों को सरकार पे नहीं आना पड़े. This was a different government. That was Vasundhara Raje ji ma'am's government. This is Ashok Gehlot's government. So he said, लोग बहुत परेशान हैं. By the way, 90% of the work in the state government happens in Hindi, so please don't mind my changing languages like that. So one senior officer who was finance secretary to Government of India, Mr. Arvind Mayaram, after retirement became our advisor, and he came to me and said, Subodh, you are in the industries department. I want you to make an act and pass an act by which no inspector will visit any industry under any law. ये क्या कह रहे हैं सर आप? 104 clearances थी हमारी. We actually compiled the list of clearances which anybody has to go through. I mean, somebody had to go through 18, somebody had to go to the 25, but 104 की list बनाई हमने. He said, state government की किसी भी, so we all tried and there were so many departments. I was told to hold the meetings. एक act बनाया. Rajasthan was the first one to make an act called MSME Act, which actually says in writing, 3-page act, छोटा सा act है, which says anyone can establish any industry, MSME, and no inspector of any state government department shall visit him for 3 years. Navneet is not here. Navneet was UP MSME secretary. ने called me up कि तूने क्या कर दिया यार? I said मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. It's a simple act. And if you all open this website rajudyogmitra.com, what happened was, see, what is important is what is happening in the mind. It all transforms. So we were all sitting in the fire department, said one day कि साहब ये तो नहीं हो सकता. आग लग गई तो हमारी तो NOC ली हुई नहीं है. अर्बन डिपार्टमेंट सेड हमारी नहीं है. बॉयलर सेड हमारी नहीं है, हम तो नहीं परमिशन देंगे. तो हमने उस एक्ट में एक रिवर्स क्लॉज डाली. सेड इफ एन इंस्पेक्टर विजिट्स अ फैक्ट्री ही मे बी पेनलाइज्ड. एंड द लॉजिक ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट वाज कि कोई आदमी इंडस्ट्री लगा रहा है, छोटी लगा रहा है, एंटरप्रेन्योर, उसके पास पैसे नहीं है, बेचारा अपना टाइम आपकी परमिशन देने में लेगा या अपनी इंडस्ट्री को जमाने में लेगा. सो वी सेड गिव हिम अ 3 years moratorium. Nobody shall visit him for this 3 years. And as usual जो इंडस्ट्रियल बॉडीज होती हैं सारी इकट्ठे होगी, सर 3 साल बाद क्या होगा? हमने कहा 3 साल तो निकलने दो. But the answer was there within. All that we had to do was, which the state government has done now after 3 years, is to change that 3 by a small change in the amendment saying the 3 may be read as 5. और हमने एक्चुअली में जब बनाया तो फिर इंडस्ट्री वाले आए. They all said, साहब आपकी बात कोई मानेगा तो है नहीं, इंस्पेक्टर तो आएगा. उसको कैसे रोके? So give us a certificate. Now I'm coming to the digital part. They all said, give us a certificate on this. You see, government has its own way. It is called red tapeism. I don't know what it is called in the industries. But they have a verse, maybe black tapeism. Because they will keep asking you questions and questions and questions of which you have no answer. But we devised something. We actually devised a website and we devised a format. And you can see the format there. And the format is, if you fill this data and basic data, your name, your company, or whatever you want to do, you will actually get a certificate which is digitally signed. Now I'll put a small question. In how much time do you think you will get the certificate? Sorry? आप check करो. 1.92 seconds is the average time. I just checked the website. 14,732 industries have been established. Because my chief minister said, इस पे कोई हाथ नहीं लगाएगा. इधर से डेटा फीड होगा और उतनी देर में सर्टिफिकेट निकल कर आना चाहिए. Now this is digital change. This is the transformation which is happening. So why I am saying is, whatever is happening here and whatever is happening in the field, it is revolutionary. It is irreversible. Now I'll come back to the prepared part. So now I'm handling 2 departments, PhD in groundwater, public health engineering department. For the people like me, let's call it drinking water, and groundwater and mines. Actually, I'm here to receive an award in the later part of the evening for bringing in technology, the work was done by my predecessors, not me. So I've actually asked my superintending engineer, who is also here. He is the one who did it. He shall be there with us, Mr. Punia, to take the award. Rajasthan government has been on the forefront of digitalizing. We just had a Digi Fest in August, where Chief Minister was there. We are a backward state. We are a resource-starved state. But not exactly. We have put up startups. I was sitting in the room where having a cup of tea, there was a unicorn. We have local Rajasthan-bred unicorns. Cardekho.com is one of them. So this culture is now coming to Rajasthan, that it is very important for the younger generation. हमें तो आप सिखा नहीं सकते. You can't teach tricks to an old horse. I don't know, that is how the quotation went. It is not part of the write-up. But the younger people will definitely lead this to the new level. Rajasthan is at the forefront. We are being awarded today for implementation of sensor-based IoT in the pilot villages in the country for the most important scheme in the country today, Jal Jeevan Mission. But we started our work much earlier. We established a proper monitoring and automation system in the drinking water sector. The state had contemplated smart water management concept way back in 2009 in the Jaipur Bisalpur project, and 2011 the first SCADA system was commissioned. Thereafter, all state source-based projects of the state have been implemented, such as smart water management project using sensors and internet for effective and efficient monitoring of water supply. In 2018, we commissioned centralized water information management system, Jaldhara. The project was aimed to establish a centralized monitoring system for potable water supply in the whole country. This system is a platform for integrating the data